more uniform for tomato and have had good luck with them.
And then when the greenhouses came, that really was a turning point. That started in '86, the first greenhouse. And I had worked with another woman in Gorham in her greenhouses, and her husband was very sick, and I helped her kind of get through the spring season. And when he eventually died and she didn't need me to help her anymore, I thought I needed a greenhouse to get through the season myself. So that's what started, and that has been probably the biggest revolution, being able to sell plants and have that boost to the season. And also a control atmosphere to start some things in.
Marketing and sales. Sustainable agriculture farms add value to commodity production by selling directly to consumers through farmers market, mail order, CSAs and farm stores, and by further processing and delivery of their own products.
I think every farmer needs to integrate marketing. Well, there's two things, marketing and selling. Marketing simply is targeting where you want your product to go. If you simply want to grow a product and ship it off to wholesale to a processor, that's targeting your market. If you want to specialize and grow products for end users like chefs or consumer products, then then you've identified your market, you've done your marketing, and the next step is to sell it, which is to find your accounts, to convince them that they should buy your product as opposed to another one. And selling simply is demonstrating the features and benefits of your product or supplying enough rational information so somebody can make a decision in your favor. And the only reason that they will do that is if it's in their favor as well. So selling is really quite an exciting process of educating and helping people come to a decision and giving them an experience that they really appreciate. And so we found selling indispensable. I mean, when we came farming, I thought I was done with sales until the first harvest.
I'm looking at the markets and I'm going backwards and then finding a way to produce for those markets. I'm not trying to force my production practices on the market, and I think that's the wrong way of doing it. And I think too many farmers over the years have done that, only produced one thing and then trying to find a market for it. I look for markets out in the consumer world and then see if the farm can produce for those markets.
The question about how a little diversified farm fits in the days of Walmart and Home Depot is one of those essential questions. And I think part of the answer is the marketplace is diversified. There are customers who will definitely always prefer a Walmart or a Home Depot. There are other consumers who will be looking for something that's a little more personal, and certainly Walmart with their greeter at the front door realizes that also. But I like to think we can be a lot more personal than that. But as far as food and freshness and Christmas trees and freshness, straight from the farm and raised in a non-industrial agricultural way, there's no comparison.
Growing a crop is certainly important, and when you're limited in experience, it seems to be growing the successful crop seems to be the ultimate achievement. But the reality is growing the crop is the easiest half of the battle. Marketing it at enough of a price level to where you can pay for your costs and then have something left over. That's the real challenge. And as a result, some people are quite amazed when we relate that we estimate that approximately 30% of our year is involved in the production of our crops, and about 70% of our time is involved in the marketing of those same crops. And on the scale that we produce at, I think that that's probably not going to be that unusual, that we have to maximize what we can get from our crops based on our scale, and that requires a real attention to the marketing side to make sure that we can get as close to the consumer dollar as we can and to cut out as many of the middlemen as possible from our sales.
raise our products and take them largely to farmers markets nearby. We go to the Portland and the Saco farmers markets, both of which are on Wednesdays and Saturdays. So we pick on Tuesdays and Fridays for the next day and send 2 trucks out with 2 crews to sell. And we started at the Saco market, and we had an oversized vegetable garden for a family at that point, and we thought that it would be a good place to market some apples in the fall, and we'd get started in the summer. And then what we found over the years were that the customers were very interested in the vegetables, and we had enough enthusiasm to do a little more each year, and converted our hay field into a vegetable field.
In the springtime, we belong to the Machias Valley Farmers Market, and between the 2 of us, we do Fridays and Saturdays there, and it's with perennials predominantly. And during that time, that would be May, June, and July, we also go to the Brewer Farmers Market with plants on Saturdays. Sometimes we get over to the Orono Farmers Market on Saturdays during that time of the year, but not as often. And then when the month of August and the blueberry crop comes, we do the Brewer Farmers Market, 5 days a week?
Too often, farmers, they're a little depressed. You know, the weather's not good, and the taxes are too high, and the price of gas is too much, and when they go to the farmers market, they end up beat. And people don't like to buy from someone that's not upbeat. Yeah. If you an upbeat person like Gloria is here, you can sell your product, which might be identical to someone else's, for more money. Yeah. Because the customers will be going to her. Yeah. And they like her message. They don't want to listen to the guy with the booth. This is just a little marketing tip. That's really what it amounts to. They don't want to go to the guy with the booth that sits and complains with a sour face and says, geez, you know, the fox got in and ate all my chickens last night. Well, consumer, it's you know, it's a story, but consumer doesn't want to hear that continually. And too many farmers try to market with that attitude. If they were upbeat, it would help us all.
In the mid-'80s, came to realize that there was an unmet need within the organic market for organic potatoes, so we started to gear up and scale up to produce potatoes on a wholesale level. And about a few years after that, we started to get requests from people asking if we shipped our produce through the mail. And we began to do that and gained confidence that it was a procedure that could be done to where the crop would arrive safely, and then developed a mail order catalog, and we've now produced I think 12 catalogs over 12 years, and just got back a printing from the printer of 40,000 catalogs, all of which are going to people that have requested the catalog from us. We don't rent mailing lists and mail it out cold. So there has been an interest, and we've tried to grow the highest quality table stock and seed that is possible, and grade it hard so that people are getting quality that they can't obtain elsewhere. And part of the secret of our success has been experimentation with different varieties, and to pick the varieties that excel as culinary varieties, and to let go of those that are just mediocre in quality, and try to appeal to people that are looking for a high quality product.
Well, I'm marketing for 8 farms in Aroostook County that are growing organically. After I got through my first season, it was very obvious to me how large the market was, and that if I simply sold my own and went away, that we were going to lose a certain amount of ground and inroads that we'd achieved establishing accounts. And so I started selling for other farmers as long as certain quality standards were met. Primarily it's a face-to-face, it's a handshake business to get started with people. Like anything else, if they can get to know you and have confidence in what you do, then they're willing to give you a shot, and if you take care of the business the right way, they'll do business with you again and again.
One of our probably major successes and failures, both at the same time, was the fact that we went into the Portland market. And what that did on the success standpoint, it really increased our exposure, because there were people coming from all over New England to see the magnificence of the market. So from there, we've really been able to use that momentum to expand into markets throughout New England. These two distributors are a direct result of our presence in the Portland public market.
And the growing of the crop is one thing. Marketing is a totally different thing, and has as many challenges to it as the growing.
We knew that we weren't going to, back then, we weren't going to do a lot of wholesale. The very first thing we sold when we bought this farm was the big delivery truck. And we knew that we were going to concentrate on right here, that we had to sell directly to people if we were going to make this farm work, because that was the only way we were going to make money. Now we've gone a little bit back into wholesale because we needed to expand the season. And retail here is a short season. While there's apples on the trees, people come out. When the apples are all picked, we're out in the boonies. It's a drive to come get apples, so business drops right off. So we've had to get back into
So we
wholesale.
have to take the
that's
product to them,
evolved.
so to speak.
Right.
The markets are out there if people are willing to take the time to promote it and put the effort into the quality. That's we feel is a big thing. Why they pay a little extra for Strauss Farm eggs, we try to make sure that they never get an egg that's, flat, or an egg that's 2 weeks old. Most of them are within a couple of days old, and people seem to appreciate that and are willing to pay a little extra for it.
I probably spend a total of half my time delivering eggs. The other half is packaging, picking them up, taking care of the birds, handling the eggs. And maybe delivering isn't quite half, but because I go to Portland, that sort of increases the volume, the amount of time that I spend on it. But I have the route worked out so that I go as fast as I can, not driving, but as short as I can, and have it worked out pretty well so that it doesn't take too long, but I still spend a lot of time doing it. A lot more than I would like to, I think, sometimes.
We sell original natural milk, which is whole milk, actually raw, I guess is what the quote-unquote society calls it. We also sell pasteurized, homogenized milk. We sell whole and 1%, and then we sell in the natural, we sell whole 1% skim. We sell natural butter. We do also have available pasteurized butter. We process ice cream. We sell to restaurants, home deliveries. We sell to stores. We sell here at the farm. We have some customers that come to the farm. We have a route that we run 4 days a week. We process 6 days a week because it takes a lot of extra time to process the product to get it prepared for those 4 days. It's probably about a 2-man full-time job, but we do it with about 1. In all honesty, we start at 4:30, well, actually probably 4 o'clock we start in the morning, and we might work all the way until 11 o'clock at night just to do all the different aspects of the process and then trying to make the farming work.
It's just an open house. We do cider pressing all day long so that people can watch everything that we do. We try to do everything that we do on those days so that everyone who comes in can watch what we're doing. It's wide open. Everybody comes and just walks around, and it's gotten bigger and bigger, and people will come and spend a whole day with us and just watch what we're doing. And free food, of course, doesn't hurt. Free cider. Yeah. But we do free cider all the time. That kind of thing, hot cider, samples, samples of apples. If someone walks in and I've got 30 varieties of apples, it confuses folks. So we give away a lot of apples. I encourage people to try them. I don't want someone taking something home saying, oh, that was not what I wanted. And I want to have people experiment with different kinds. So that's been a big part of it. The pumpkins we put in, I put those in for the first time. I've always had some pumpkins. This was the first time we did pick your own pumpkins. We have a section across the road with a beautiful view of the mountains. So I put my pumpkin patch right there. And then we take wagon rides down into the orchard there, and we'll drop people off and they can pick their pumpkins, and we can pick them up on the way back so they don't have to carry them. That's turned out really popular because people can choose what they want.
Sometimes I just come out to see the animals and get ice cream, or we'll do pumpkin tours. He'll do a hay ride and go out and they'll vote on one of the largest pumpkins out there, and we'll donate that to their class. And then they'll come back for ice cream and visit the animal barn and just have a good old time.
And we're trying to capture the people that are already going through this area to come to our farm. And it's something that we feel is there, it's an asset, we just have to capitalize on it.
We are also participate in Maine Maple Sunday, and we have since the beginning. And so this past year, this is a new sugar house, and we had 900 people show up that day. And so it's a great day. We sell 60 or 70 gallons of syrup, and we educate people about the process. And it's all in all a great day. Exhausting, but a lot of fun and very important to the whole process of reaching out to the community and garnering that support, which is essential for our existence.
And another key is having people come to the farm, because once they're on the farm, if you keep your farm looking good and make it an attractive place and an enjoyable place for people to visit, they'll like the experience, they'll like to come back, the kids like to come back. We have a lot of people who come. We participate in Maine Maple Sunday, the fourth Sunday in March. A lot of 300 or so people come the last couple of years. We happen to have gorgeous weather.
And they all come back at Christmas to
and
buy
they all
a tree.
come back at Christmas, but they walk out in the woods in the sugar bush. And our son and a friend of his do a sugar bush tour. The 10-year-olds are in charge of the woods, and people love that. For them to see what mud is and what farms go through to produce a product all helps cement in the customer's mind that it's a real product. It's a locally produced. It's a local producer who's making it.
I mean, our CSA is what provided us the funds so that we wouldn't have to go to the bank every spring for operating money.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to pay somebody interest, you might as well pay your customers, right? And so the top rate that we're paying our customers is 7%, and we pay them the small share, the quarter share, we pay them 3% on the money that they give us.
So if they get a $97 share, they actually get $100 credit with the farm. That's the way that was. That wasn't the original incentive, when we've actually made it less over time. But and if somebody gives us $370.
Right,
Right,
they get
$370. They get $400 worth of credit with the farm, and we're happy to give them that little bit of incentive and interest, and I think that we would continue to have the same amount of participation even if we didn't do it. But right now it's working for everybody, and that's fine to keep it that way.
And so I think we still have the largest membership for our community-supported agriculture program in the state.
We recently have started a CSA, and we contacted people through a mailing list that we have. We write a newsletter 4 times a year, and right now we have over 5,000 people on our mailing list. And we wrote about the idea that we might have a CSA, and people were very responsive to it. And the way we run it is the farm stand concept, where people pay us a balance ahead, and then we just deduct whenever they buy from us, either at market or at a home stand or at the greenhouses. And we give them a 10% bonus for doing it. So if they pay us $90, we carry a balance of $100. In the first season, I guess we had about 50 people that bought shares, and at that time we thought that $250 would be about right. And we've since made it up to the customers in $100 increments. And this year we have well over 100 shareholders. And it works really well, and those people are very loyal to us. And it gives us some production money early in the season when things are pretty thin. And they also like to feel as though they're really helping local agriculture, which they are.
We needed to find some kind of outlet when one of our customers went out of business. And that's when a friend came up to us and said, please sell us your vegetables. We have a group of families who are interested in organic produce. We'd love to buy it from you. So it was a perfect outlet and a beginning. It was a new beginning for us to sell to this buying club, which we now call a modified CSA, in that they don't pay us at the beginning of the season. They pay us for the produce just in the amount that produce really costs retail. They're saving money by doing that, and we are able to sell an assortment of produce that otherwise would be sitting on the farm. And so we make the selection, goes into the boxes, they divvy them up, and they're happy, they're surprised. They never know if they're going to get scallions and parsley and cilantro, the makings for salsa, spaghetti sauce fixins, or whatever. Not that we try to have a theme every time, but the assortment is just, I think, what a family could use.
I think the store's evolved a lot over the years. When we first started, it was down in the basement of the building, in the same room where the coolers were. First thing we did was move upstairs into the barn, take everything out of it, and open up that area so that we were in the old barn. It's got beautiful beams, it's a lovely old barn. Put our store in there and started selling the apples and that. And over the years, that building has evolved. Put siding on it, we've insulated it, we've encouraged neighbors to bring products in. We have craftspeople, local people, I try to stick right to this area, who do pottery, bake stuff, jams and jellies. I try to provide an outlet for people, and that's drawn a lot of other people in. So now we do a lot of local crafts, a lot of bake stuff. We're putting in a small bakery here ourselves. We're going to do our own donuts and things. But a lot of it's just other people coming in and putting their product in, and we'll sell their product for them. Helps the neighbors, local people, and helps us as well.
Well, now the store encompasses, I do about a dozen different varieties of bread every day. Along with the breads, we do homemade cookies, baked pies. We bottle some of our own milk, make our own goat's cheese. Value-added food products, such as we normally have about 4 to 5 different kinds of soups available all the time, and quiches and lasagnas and things like that. But they can also, we also make them to frozen so that they can bring them home and bake them off themselves. We have a full freezer display of organic beef, veal, lamb, and pork, as well as pasture-raised chickens and turkeys, which is all grown here. And then we carry other products such as turkey from the turkey farm in New Sharon, venison when we can get it from local deer farms, our own butter. We have a small yarn shop now established in part of the store. There's a little place in the back, a cafe, that people can come in and sit and have lunch or brunch or breakfast any time during the day. We have a small supplement aisle, and the rest is just good food.